Hello, and I am delighted to have you back on a new episode on Ripples by Gia. If you're new here, hello, I am your host for today, Gia, and I'm all about expanding your consciousness and giving your power back to you through your beautiful portal, which is your body. So I talk all about consciousness, I talk all about energetics, and I talk about it in a very practical way. But however, in today's episode, we are going to take more of a spiritual route, and I'm going to get real weird with my words today, and I really hope that I'm able to articulate what I want to say properly because I'm very telepathic and I get a bajillion downloads daily, and it's just the words don't match the feelings and they don't match the images all the time. So it's really difficult to give things words. I rather honestly just telepathically have a podcast, but I know that ain't gonna work yet. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future, but not right now. But anyways, if you're still here and you are clearly enjoying this weirdness, welcome. Welcome. We do things raw, unhinged and unscripted. And I don't know why today I really just want to be telepathic today. As you can tell, I'm like struggling to get my words out, but I feel like it's a positive thing. I think it's time to bring this podcast to life and talk about this topic. And today's topic is free will. Free will and how it actually impacts you. And what does that even mean? What does free will mean? I'm finding often when I have clientele in front of me or I'm speaking just people at like cocktail parties or whatever, when I say something, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was possible." And I'm looking at them like, "Yeah, you're free. Like you're on the planet of free will. And everything is at your command." Literally. And if you don't like it, you can also revoke your consent, take away your will from that person, place, thing, situation, whatever it may be. And you have full autonomy to let your contracts play out and then renew them, refresh them, take different routes, and all this with your destiny in your life because you have free will. And the best part about having free will on this planet is that we came here to play, we came here to create, we came here to enjoy. And we do that with our will. Now, what do I mean when I say we all have free will? So, before coming on this planet, we obviously have a contract with the planet. We have, divine soul blueprints, interactions, conversations, our destiny, everything we have a contract with on this planet. Within that contract terms is something called free will. So even if you want to work with your guides, angels, source, universe, whatever your vocabulary is there, you have to literally ask for it. You have to consent for them to come through because you have free will. Nothing can happen without your consent. Nothing can happen. I'm talking about the good stuff, the bad stuff, the neutral stuff, anything and everything. And I do agree, life does happen. Sometimes shit is just not in our control. Shit will hit the fan. But again, free will here plays a major part on how we respond to it and how we energy match things and how do we upgrade and evolve ourselves through free will. So, talking about consent and free will are the same thing in my perspective. It's what you allow, what you're willing to do and willing to become and willing to be. So, for an example, as I earlier mentioned, even if you are looking for divine support, divine intervention, you will need to so call pray for it or call it in because nobody can enter your field without consent. Now, this takes me to my second point. If you are someone that's just, you feel like you're constantly looping in struggle and you're just not feeling good, and there's just financial issues, there may be relationship issues, there may be issues with oneself and the body and the health and so forth. You really want to sit down with yourself. Yes, you can decode your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. Absolutely, you can do that, right? But like I said, not everything is in our control, right? I want you to really think about what you are consenting to. And it could be unconscious. Sometimes we're not aware what we're doing. We do things because we feel like we have to do them and it's our obligation, it's our responsibility. But I really want you to sit with yourself and think, what am I consenting to? What am I allowing in my life? Am I allowing poverty mindset? Am I consenting to traditions that no longer support me and my evolution? Am I consenting to things that are just completely out of character for me? Or am I consenting to things that I don't want to be? Like that future version of me, it's not a match. I really want you to think about that because sometimes, not sometimes, always, because the dark forces on the planet are great at disguising themselves and playing tricks on us, they'll find sneaky ways to get our consent and they cause a lot of disturbance and interferences. And that's usually why we feel so uncomfortable when we get these like very low thoughts. We feel depressed, we feel anxious, we feel overwhelmed. You really want to think, is it an emotion, a feeling, a thought that is coming out of you, or is it coming into you? What is the flow and the direction of this energy? Because that is a huge telling sign of whether it is interference energy coming into you and blocking you, or it's just something you're unconsciously, you may be materializing through past experiences. So that's also something you want to discern heavily, I would say, because oftentimes we're really good at gaslighting ourselves for feeling the way we feel, for being at a certain point in our life without recognizing that, hey, it's really not my fault. I may have just been positioned this way. Maybe it's the environment you go into work, like your work environment, everyone there may just be really dull and tired and burnt out. And you're just picking up all that energy because you may be super kind and super willing and eager to help. And you're always jumping in saying yes because you feel awful for your colleagues and so forth. But see how right there you just consented to whatever they're feeling. You consented to their energy and you said, yeah, sure, you can come into my field. So you've unconsciously now created a bit of an attachment or a hook there, and there's a bit of a leak. Now, I'm not saying don't help people. That's not where I'm going at. Please do not misunderstand me. I love being at service. I love supporting people. That's exactly why I have this podcast and YouTube channel and my Instagram page up. But you need to be mindful in how you do it and how you use your free will and your consent to maneuver in this world. Because there's a lot of trickster energy out there that you may not be aware of. So you want to be mindful of where you're going and what you're doing. And perhaps you may want to get another job. You may want to be in a different environment and stop consenting to this environment. It can be your home. Sometimes it's our cars. We feel like they're outdated, they're tired, they just don't feel right. We don't feel comfortable in them, and so forth. But the reality is, we're always materializing, and everything we materialize is happening through us. It's happening from us. It's happening from our free will. It's happening from our own allowance of things. I'm going to take a little break to sip my water. And this is exactly why you want to focus on, well, not focus on, but you want to see where you feel most interfered with. Is it with, your education, your schooling? Is it with work? Is it with relationships? Is it with your oneself? What feels really heavy, icky, and dense? And you really want to see what you are consenting to and how you're using your free will to upgrade yourself out of it. And that is a power of free will. Not God, not angels. Nobody can interfere with you unless you allow it. And that is why prayer is so powerful. Because when you pray for something, you are allowing it with your free will and your consent. You are asking for it. And it's the law. It's the law. You shall ask, you shall receive, period. It's the law. And this entire planet runs on free will. So you're actually not far from freedom. You are the symbol of freedom. And we always seem to forget that. Freedom, they like, I'm going to call it just a trickster energy or whatever, right? Like the interference energy, dark forces, whatever your vocabulary is there. They always trick us and make us feel like we're not free. And freedom feels so far, like financial freedom, freedom from, self-doubt, freedom from anxiety, freedom from insecurity. But you represent freedom. You're the extension of the creator that has free will. And you are the commander of your energy. You get to decide where you want your energy to flow and how quickly, how slow, what shape, what color. You really get to decide that. And that's not to say that bad things won't happen and life won't hit you in the face once in a while. Of course it will. Of course it will. That's also a part of the journey. That's also part of the journey. Just surrendering, moving, but having the strength and the belief that you are the commander and you have free will and you have consent to change things. And I also feel like this component of free will and consent, nobody talks about when they talk about, topics like manifestation, quantum leaping, timeline shifts. It is major. It is major, 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 major component for shifting, for pivoting, for timeline jumping. It's your free will. And that's why when you decide and you get clarity, things move so much more faster and they move in your favor because you've used your free will to impact that. And you'll notice it, whatever your inner dialogue is, whatever the words you're speaking over your life, they materialize. You feel more and more like that. If you wake up every day thinking, oh, I'm a loser, you feel more like a loser. Wake up every day and think, fuck it, I'm the best. Fuck it, you feel the best. You feel the best then, because that's what you're consenting to. Those are the energies you want to play with. And I really want you to play. Play with this whole concept, this topic of free will. Um, in full discernment, please. Of course, in full discernment. We're not using things to harm ourselves or others. We have good intentions here, okay, people? Good intentions. It's unfortunate that I have to say that. I laugh at myself all the time because I often find that because how our society is set up, how the systems are set up, everyone's always looking for a shortcut. And I don't blame them. I don't. I used to be one of those people too. I understand the exhaustion. I understand the burnout and why you may be in a rush to just retire and relax. Because that's exactly what we came here to do. We came here to just hang out, play, create, and enjoy and be with our brothers and sisters and our loved ones, right? It's our natural creation. It's our natural blueprint. It's how we're meant to operate. And anything that's dimming your light, your creation energy, your joy is interference. It's interference. And in our full awareness, we are meant to understand, consciously or unconsciously, what we are doing in our day to day and where we're giving our attention and our resources to that may be consenting against us, right? Where our consent is going. And of course, once you have discovered that and you don't like it, you're like, oh my gosh, like I've unconsciously been agreeing to stay in this relationship, for example, and it's not working out. Like it's just, I'm in this relationship for just sake of being in a relationship, right? You can revoke your consent. You can revoke your consent. I have revoked my consent from all manipulation. I've revoked my consent from all psychic attacks. I've revoked my consent from dark forces, energies, poverty mindset, any kind of frequency signals, all of that. I've actually revoked my consent. And it's not a spell. You don't need to set up an altar and like worship something. No, you are enough. It's you and your words and your free will. You can literally, again, say it in a prayer form or simply just make a statement, make a declaration, your full power and your commander energy, and say, I now revoke and rebuke my consent from, say everything. And it could be very little things from, the illnesses, from certain family members, from certain exes, and, certain financial agreements or ties, whatever that is, whatever you want to break free from, revoke your consent from it. And once you list all those things, be like, now and forever, you can never access me. I delete you out of my field now. And I want you to say it in full declaration. And of course, you can write it down and so forth as well. And once again, friendly reminder, it doesn't mean you're immune to life. Life will still happen to you, but in your awareness, you'll know how to respond to it. But that's how powerful you are on this planet. We as humans, we are very powerful on this planet. And we are the symbols of freedom. We are the symbols of love. We are the symbols of joy, of creation in full expression, in its physical reality. Someone took all those elements and boom, here you are. This little Powerpuff Girl moment when they're putting in all those potions and making creations. But that's it. That's today's episode. I was honestly, I don't know what it was, but I was itching to share that. And I really had to share it. I had to show up here and tell everybody, like, hey, like, you don't need to struggle. It really, you have power over it. Nothing is greater than you. It really is not. Well, of course, other than God, but that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different episode. But these interference energies, these things that we struggle with on the day to day, we can redirect our energy. We can revoke our consent. We can recreate from those experiences. We can alchemize them with simply commanding our energies and our free will and our consent. You can write these declarations down. You can say them out loud. You can put them in a prayer, whatever you like. This was a short and sweet one. I honestly just want to come in and speak about this topic. I could probably talk about it for hours and hours and hours and give you a lot of personal experiences and personalized stories. But honestly, this is the point. And I'm going to stay true to my words of being raw, unscripted, and unhinged. Um, yeah, and this is it. This is the message for today. I hope it resonated. I hope it gave you a bit of hope and light back in your day and some breathing space that you are actually in charge here and nothing can take you down. Nothing can take you down. Oh, deep breath there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everyone's presence here so much with me. If this resonated or if you had some aha moments, even if you disagreed with me or you want to know further more information, please do leave me a comment, like, subscribe, share this episode with your family members and friends um, to just share wisdom, I guess. That's all. That's all. But I love you all so much, and I wish you all an incredible, incredible week ahead. I will be probably coming back with another topic. Don't know what it is yet. I'll probably get more clarity on that very shortly. But I love you all so much. Keep thriving because we came here to thrive, not just to survive.